What's up, everybody? Last week, I put out videos for the long-range meta, the short-range meta, and the sniper meta for Season 1 of Black Ops 6. Yesterday, I put out the best way to set up your loadouts for success, and today we are talking about perks. I wanted to include perks in the loadout video, but it would have made the video even longer, and gives me another reason to upload today. But I will link all those videos down below so you can be the most prepared and do your best in Warzone in Season 1 of the Black Ops 6 integration. Also, linked down below is my Twitch if you want to come tell me I'm stupid live, or you have any suggestions for me to try something else out that I didn't think of. And also all my social medias and my single player channel linked down below if you are interested in any of those. But the perks, there's a lot to talk about of why you shouldn't use perks more than some perks. But what we're going to do today is I have 4 categories of perks based off of who you are as a player or how you play. And those perks are and then I'll give you the perks that I think you should use. And of course, I'm going to talk about perks that should or shouldn't be used and why. So let's go ahead and jump over the loadout screen and look through the perks. Okay, so now we're over on the loadout screen. Just focus on the perks. All the loadouts are the same in my loadout setup video yesterday, and it's all stuff I've recommended in those videos. So you can ignore all of that. I guess we didn't talk about the secondaries, but secondary almost doesn't matter. I'll probably have to, whatever. Nope, I'm going to cut that out because I'm actually going to re-record something really quick and cut it in that other video. Okay, so we're over on the loadout screen. We are going to start off with aggressive perks. You can ignore the weapons because we talked about that in our loadout video yesterday, and they're all loadouts that we talked about before. We didn't go into the secondary loadouts because it doesn't matter too much. So we just quickly looked at those attachments, and I don't even know what the best secondary pistol is, but we're here to talk about perks, of course. And so starting off with aggressive perks, dexterity would probably be featured more in this video, but currently it's not really doing much in terms of reducing weapon motion with jumping, sliding, and diving. And the takes less fall damage. It goes from like 16 meters to 9 meters, so it's very inconsequential. And so as dexterity stands now, it's not really useful. Scavenger kind of has a place in being aggressive because you're going to run out of ammo more often, and you get more ammo and plates from that. And you get more when you grab your loadout, but not worth using over Survivor, where you start health regen more quickly and your allies revive you faster when you're down. Now, if you're aggressive, typically you're playing solos, duos, trios against quads, but your health regen begins earlier, and it really comes down to logically dexterity or Survivor, but dexterity doesn't work. And Scavenger is not going to help you if you're dying because your health is not regenning, of course. And Grenadier, enemy explosive damage slows enemy health regen and movement speed. Not too big of a deal here. I mean, especially only being able to carry 2 grenades without a munitions vest and without the backpacks. So that's not going to do too much there. So we go with Survivor here. Then we're going to go with Quick Fix. Sprinter is a really good one here because you can sprint indefinitely with it. Tracker is an interesting one because while you see footsteps, that's not the big thing. If you're playing really aggressive, you probably know what you're doing, or you just don't know what you're doing so much that perks aren't going to help you because you're a new player, and we will have new player perks. The big thing here is enemies that you down. Well, first, bullets you fire briefly mark an enemy for you and your squad, and enemies that you down are automatically pinged. And when you hit an enemy from further away, it increases the time they are marked. So that does help you track people, tracker, when you're trying to solo versus duo plus. So that's an interesting one. And then, of course, Quartermaster to get equipment faster could make sense if you're being aggressive. But Quick Fix is going to be the #1 for being aggressive because when you kill players when you start inserting plates, you immediately start health regen. So you can insert plates with one hand, and the health regen triggers on gun, melee, and throwing knife kills. So Survivor helps your health regen earlier when you aren't able to get a full, or when you aren't able to insert plates yet. For whatever reason, you're out of plates, you have to cover and heal, and you can't take that full, whatever. Survivor is going to help you there. And then Quick Fix, when you're got an enemy down, you hit him with a throwing knife, whatever, you're being aggressive, you're probably running throwing knives, it helps that regen. So both of those perks are focused on keeping you alive. Of course, Sprinter's good because you get infinite tack sprint, and Tracker to help you track enemies, but if you're playing this aggressive, you probably want to focus on staying alive more than anything. So for the aggressive perk #2, we're going with Quick Fix. Then number 3, I had some more debate. I had Gung Ho because you reduce the movement penalties while reloading, and you can reload while tack sprinting, which helps you in a fight. So this is probably my number 2 for being aggressive. We have Resolute that taking damage from gunfire helps you boost your movement speed for a short duration. That's really good for trying to outmaneuver teams. We have a better place for that, and that's probably number 3 on this list. Ghost is not going to help you too much being aggressive because it's just you are invisible while you're moving. Bird's Eye could help you help you while you're being aggressive because it helps you find players with Ghost. It helps you find more players. But our aggressiveness is focused on staying alive in a fight. And then Alertness, sense when enemies are nearby, tell when you're being aimed at is okay. But if you're pushing full teams, you probably, and if you don't, you should figure out how. But you probably have an idea of about where everybody should be in that fight. So Tempered's my number 1 for being aggressive. Then probably Resolute or Gung Ho are about 2A and 2B. And then Bird's Eye is 4th. I don't think Alertness or Ghost are too needed while you're playing like super aggressive playstyle. So then at number 2, we have the new player perks. If you are just getting into Warzone for the first time or you haven't played in a very long time, I think Grenadier is a decent one, not because of the explosive damage slows enemy health regen and movement speed, although that will help newer players in fights. They throw the equipment farther is okay. This isn't something you're going to want to use long term from that aspect because then you won't be used to it when you want to move on to other perks I recommend. But the preview of trajectory is nice if you haven't played in a while, just so you can see where you're throwing your nades because you're not going to have a feel for it. Dexterity normally, and in fact for Modern Warfare 3 Warzone, the equivalent dexterity, or when they added Mountaineer, was what I recommended because then you didn't have to gauge fall distance as much, but only adding 3 meters doesn't help too much. So this is probably my number 2. My number 3 would be Survivor. The health regen's good, but if you're a new player, it's more about your allies reviving you faster while you're when you're downed, which is good because if you're new or you haven't played in a while, chances are you're going to get downed a lot. But I think Grenadier is the best one because you're going to be throwing grenades and stuff. Everyone does, and that's going to help show you where they are. And then I'd probably put Survivor number 2 and then Dexterity number 3 since it doesn't really do too much. Tracker, it's obvious. You're not probably going to have a whole lot of game sense. Unless you're coming from other BRs and you're a gamer that's just mixing it up that plays a lot of games, probably don't have the best BR game sense, and that's where I think Tracker comes in. Helps you see footsteps, helps mark enemies, pings enemies while they were down, and so I think that's really good. Sprinter, I don't think is great because unless you're just using it to run away, you're probably not using it to rotate and fight a lot. Bomb Squad's okay. Because you're reducing the incoming explosive and fire damage, and you can spot equipment and kill streaks through walls. So that'll help you identify like mines so you don't just push into like a mine or a bomb trap or something like that. But other than that, it doesn't do too much for new players. Quartermaster, you just recharge your equipment faster. That's not really doing too much for new players other than helping you with inventory management, which I guess you could say about Scavenger 1 as on perk 1. Cold-blooded, immune to combat scout, scrambling, and EMP effects, and will not trigger alertness. That doesn't do too much, and thermal and stuff. That's not going to do too much for new players. And then Quick Fix, I think, is a lot better for experienced players because the killing players helping you regen health is big on that one. So for me, it's really just Tracker, and then maybe Bomb Squad are all I would recommend for newer players on perk 2. And then perk 3, I went with Alertness. It's just the game sense thing again. Kind of like Tracker, but other than that, maybe Bird's Eye just to help you locate players because it's kind of another game sense thing. And for new players trying to learn the game, I would really just recommend Alertness or Bird's Eye. So now moving on to the movement demon perks. Survivor just gets it by default because there's nothing else great. Dexterity should get it, but Dexterity does next to nothing, and so it doesn't get it. Then number 2, obvious, Sprinter. Can tack sprint indefinitely, good for the movement demons. Nothing else is helping you move on perk 2. And then perk 3 is between Gung Ho and Resolute. The reload while attack sprinting is good, and the reduced movement penalties when reloading or using equipment is good. But what's big here is Resolute. So that way you can take damage. You get the 15% movement speed bonus, plus on the stims you get a movement speed bonus as well. So you could stack those and really get the movement moving. So it's between Gung Ho and Resolute, but I would go with Resolute. because you're just going to be taking damage more often than you're trying to reload while you're attack sprinting. And then finally, rat perks, the ones I hate. It ends up Survivor again by default. Scavenger's not going to help if you're not running around a lot. Dexterity's not going to help because you're standing still. Grenadier's not going to help because you're not going to be pushing people and trying to push into buildings and hit them with nades and stuff. So Survivor by default. Then 2, this is self-explanatory, Cold-Blooded. You're trying to hide from thermals. You're trying to hide from combat scouts. You're trying not to trigger alertness. You're trying not to be detected by AI on kill streaks. So Cold-Blooded, obviously. And then Ghost, obviously. I mean, the radar pings, you're undetectable while moving. So if you're ratting, you're probably not moving a lot, but you could just stand against the wall and put movement input in, and I believe that counts. Or you could just be crouch walking around buildings to avoid being seen, and of course you could rat that way. You could do alertness, so if you're in a building, you'll know if anyone gets a peek on you and gets an angle on you, but Ghost is going to be your move. So those are the perks I recommend based off of your playstyle. Once again, aggressive perks are Survivor, Quick Fix, and Tempered. New player perks are Grenadier, Tracker, and Alertness. Movement demon perks Survivor, Sprinter, and Resolute. And rat perks are Survivor, Cold-Blooded, and Ghost. Let me know what you think of the perks down below. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you'd like this type of content, want to see it first. Like I said, all of my Twitch, all my social medias, and my single player channel link down below. Check out anything you feel you're interested in. And of course, I will see you in the next video, and I will see you on Urzikstan, Rebirth Island, and Area 99. Get frying. Have a good day. Bye.